Hi, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone who's watching this video. Today we're going to talk about the biology in healthcare. We are the team number 1, confirmed by Itzel Cristina La Fuente Guerrero, Alejandro González Camilla, Leonardo Diego Coronado, David Samuel Moctezuma Pérez, Christopher Abad Valladares Rodriguez, and myself, Alexis Aguirre Lanis. So let's get started.
Okay, so as an introduction to biology in healthcare, let's first talk about what exactly is biology and what are its fields of action. Biology is a comprehensive science that studies life from different standpoints. It can be from the structure of atoms and molecules to the biology of the evolutionary development of the population, to even other branches of biology such as anatomy, anthropology, botany, embryology, biomedicine, biochemistry, cytology, genetics history, immunology, virology, zoology, and now that we humans are beginning to leave the limits of the planet and travel to space, astrobiology will probably be integrated to this list very soon. This is because the knowledge as well as the tools we have to understand life are evolving every day. Biology allows us to know the compositions of materials like genetics, but it also allows us to know about the interactions of living things and their vital processes. Now, how did life originate in the planet? This is a question that a lot of us have probably thought about, and through all of human history, we still have not been able to answer this question because the answers vary a lot that we still haven't found one that fully satisfies us. For example, for centuries it was believed that a supreme being created life spontaneously. But then as we progress and as our knowledge progressed, we formulated other possible explanations, like that the electrical activity in the atmosphere originated life, or that life was created inside of the volcanoes or at the bottom of the sea, and even that life might be transported by meteorites or comets into Earth. What we know until now is that whatever that happened before gave rise to a system capable of storing information to create various molecules and edit their modifications. The truth to all of this is that this story is not ending yet, and we are still looking for the answer to this question.
Hi, my name is David Samuel Moctezuma Perez. I'm from group 214, and I'm going to talk about the characteristics of living things and differences between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. So, let's begin with the characteristics of living things. As we know, all living things are made up of cells or a cell they use to obtain energy to survive. They have unique abilities like reproduce, grow, respond, etc. So, let's begin. Organization. All living things are organized, all have their groups or domains, which the lower ones give sustenance to superiors, and nothing can exist or function without this complex organization. Genetic code. It is a sequence nitrogenous base that combine to produce word, we could say in language understandable to all living things, so it is considered to be universal. We have respond to stimuli. Living things can respond to different stimuli such as light, temperature, chemical substances, etc. Then we have homeostasis. That refers to the set of self-regulation phenomena that lead to a conservation of steadiness in composition and properties of internal environment. Then we have metabolism. Living things use energy to maintain homeostasis in life. That means they must take components from their external environment, transform them, and use them for benefit. We have growth. This is a process of growing in organisms following assimilation of food and increase in size, number, significance, etc. Then we have reproduction. The biomolecule function is to contain information that we call DNA. So then reproduction implies that it is the information transmitted from one generation to the next is done through inheritance molecule. Then we have adaptation, ability, and evolution. Thanks to genetic variability, therefore sexual reproduction is so important. Individuals, even if they belong to the same species, have slight differences when environment takes to a greater or lesser extent. These small differences determine whether organism can survive or not. So Let's talk about the differences between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. So, what's a cell? A cell are basic unit of life. In modern world, they are the smallest known world that performs all of life functions. All living things are either single cell or multicellular organisms composed of many cells working together. Well,
Hi, my name is Alexis, and today we're going to talk about the microscope and the cell and its theory, right? The microscope was created by Galileo Galilei in 1609, okay? But the microscope was just an upgrade of the lenses designed to magnify objects. So technically the concept of microscope was created in late 16th century and perfected by Galileo in 1609, as I just mentioned. The microscope is used to magnify small objects. So it is through the microscope lens that the image of an object can be magnified a lot of times and observed in detail. It also manipulates how the light enters to the eye using the convex lens, where both sides of the lens are cubed outwards. And the parts of microscope is ocular length, Diplomar adjustment, head, nose piece, arm, object lens, stage clip, aperture, diaphragm condenser, illuminator, and a lot of more things. Thanks to a microscope, nowadays we can analyze very small things like a cell. Yeah. The cell is the smallest structural and functional unit of an organism, consisting of cytoplasm and nucleus enclosing a membrane, and it is considered a microscopic organism. Microscopic organisms typically consist of a single cell, which is either eukaryotic or prokaryotic. And it has a theory, the cell theory. Theory that cells are the basic structural, functional, and organizational units of both single cell and multicellular organisms. Cells divided and pass on hereditary information, and energy flows within cells. Based on principles, but the three main are: all living organisms are composed with cells, one or more. The number two is cells arise from pre-existing cells. The three is the cell is the basic unique structure and organization in organisms. Now you know the essential things of the small world that coexists with us. Thanks for your attention. I hope you enjoy. See ya.
Hello. For my topic, I will explain the cellular transport. This process occurs in the cell or plasma membrane, an organelle present in all the cells. This process is done when anything enters or leaves the cell. Cellular transport has its own classification. One is called active and the other one passive. The active one spends energy against gradients of concentration. A good example that all eukaryotic cells have is the ATPase. The passive kind does not waste energy and goes in favor of concentration gradient. This in turn is divided into simple facilitated, and dialysis diffusion. The next image explains simple diffusion very well. The green arrow represents that all the hydrophobic molecules simple pass through the lipid layer, that the small uncharged polar molecules and the big uncharged polar molecules pass in small quantities, and that the ions simple can pass through the membrane in simple diffusion. In facilitated diffusion, the molecules need the presence of proteins to pass in ultrafiltration or dialysis diffusion, whereas some solutes pass through the membrane as a result of hydrostatic pressure. When large amount of matter pass through the cell's membrane, there are two other classifications, called endocytosis and exocytosis. The first one refers when something enters the cell. There are different kinds of process here, but they can generally be explained by comparing them as the drinking or eating of the cell. The other classification, exocytosis, secretes the material produced by the cell and has two different processes, one that is regulated, another that is constant, for example, the secretion of saliva. The next topic that I'm going to explain is that of the levels of organization. Fortunately, this topic is much simpler and can be explained and summarized in a single image. This image is quite similar to the one we have in our book and simply represents the things that each living being and each living society is made of, starting with atoms, molecules, cells, tissues, organs, body systems, organisms, population, community, ecosystem, and biosphere. Thanks.
Hi there, my name is Rodrigo Coronado, and today we will see two topics. The first one is homeostasis, and the second one is organ systems. To start, we will see homeostasis. Homeostasis is very likely that when you are very cold, your body starts to shiver. These reactions, as I already said, is known as homeostasis. But what is homeostasis? Well, homeostasis is the ability of living beings to maintain their internal environment of their body in balance regardless of the conditions of the external environment. Some of the main conditions that living beings have to regulate internally are body temperature and the elimination of toxic substances. This last one is through the excretory organs. Talking about organs, we'll see organ systems lately. Well, the human being maintains a body temperature between 36 and 37 degrees Celsius, which is the temperature at which they function correctly. When you get a fever, what the body does is to release more heat to fight the infection. In the case of animals, most of them depend on the environment to regulate their organism, as in the case of some dogs, which release heat from their body to sticking their tongues in and out. Now, moving out on the second topic, which is organ systems. Well, to start the topic, we need to know what is an organ. In the human body, group of cells that works together to carry out a function are called organs. An example of an organ will be the heart. The function of the heart is to pump blood throughout our bodies. By itself, the heart isn't helpful, but when you connect the heart to a system of veins and arteries, called the circulatory systems, it provides a vital function to the human body. In our bodies, there are 11 different organ systems that each have different roles. The integumentary system protects our bodies and receives sensory information. It also works to regulate our temperature. Nervous system detects environment stimuli and also responds to that stimuli. The muscular system is used for movement and also temperature regulation. In the skeletal systems provide structure and support, as well as protection to internal organs. It also has a role in making red blood cells. The cardiovascular systems move oxygen throughout the body by moving blood that is carrying oxygen. The endocrine systems produce and secrete hormones used for the body function. The lymphatic systems move fluid in the tissues of the body back to the blood so that it can be filtered. Also, the lymphatic system is a part of the body's immune system. The respiratory system collects oxygen from the external environment and delivers it to the tissues of the body. The digestive systems work to break down food and absorb nutrients into the body. The urinary system maintains fluid levels in the body and also eliminates urine. The reproductive system's organs in the body are responsive for reproduction. Together, each of the 11 organ systems works at the same time and producing all of the functions of the body. That will be it. Thank you very much for your attention.
Good afternoon, my name is Chris Bravo Valladares Rodriguez, and today I'm going to explain you about these three little topics that are health and diseases, health in adolescents, and healthy lifestyles. First of all, what is health? I already said it like 3 or 4 times. According to the dictionary of the Royal Spanish Academy, aka RAE, by its acronym in Spanish, health is the state in which the organic being normally exercises all its functions. To understand it better, we have to know what is homeostasis, that is the perfect equilibrium of self-regulating systems. An example of this will be in winter, when we start trembling or shaking to warm up a little bit our body. Or, in the other hand, in summertime, when we start sweating, this helps us to decrease the temperature. Now, we have to know what is a disease. A disease is a condition that crumbles the typical working of the cells, tissues, and organs. We have 2 kinds of these, the infectious diseases and non-infectious diseases. The infectious are those that can spread within humans. An example of this will be the COVID-19 or flu. And then it is the non-infectious disease that are those that can spread between humans, but we develop them within the age. Health in adolescence. As we already know, adolescence is a stage of change that will help us in our development as humans, physically, mentally, and psychologically. During this stage, our body secretes hormones that didn't being children, and those change drastically our being, with several changes such as height, voice, body hair, etc. There are several practices that lead us to health, for example, masturbation, and so on. But we are going to explain it right now. A little bit, I'm sorry. However, physical is not the only type of health that exists. We already say them. We have to study them from a biopsychosocial point of view, which involves the physical, psychological, and social approaches. So if you are a lonely wolf, you have a good health, physical, but you are not at all healthy. Then we have the healthy lifestyles and some tips about how to have one. First of all, this may sound logical, but avoid risky factors such as a sedentary life is of a great help. Then we have to sleep between 7 and 8 hours every day, practice physical activity regularly. We have here the example of Cristiano Ronaldo. No smoking, no alcoholic drinks, keep a body weight within the limit, avoid burnout, go hang out with friends, express your feelings, and seek professional help in case of needed. So that will be it. Thank you so much and have a nice day.
And these are the APA reference we use during our research. I hope you enjoyed today's presentation and have a nice day. See ya!